Hello YouTube, my name is Tracy, and in this video I will be sharing with you some hard truth about healing your stomach, about healing your gut and your bowels and your body. And my channel is about healing the root cause, and the root cause is trauma. It's a well-known, studied fact now that trauma is very much linked to disease and disorder. And the mind-body connection is real. The emotional gut connection is even more real. We have gut feelings, gut instincts, and intuition. And we live in a kind of society that sometimes hijacks the intelligence that our body has, the innate wisdom that the body is demanding us to live by. We live in a very fast-paced society, and our values in Western culture and Western medicine, it hijacks our truth. It really does. And when we grow up in narcissistic, abusive families, or domestic violence, or trauma with parents, developmental trauma, we learn to abandon ourselves, abandon our instincts, abandon our intuition, and then we lose sight of our wisdom, our truth, who we are, and then we get stressed out. We get anxious, we get depressed, we get addicted, and then we get all this illness, disorder, disease, and cancer. And I think the first thing I want to share, and the most important thing that I'll share that's going to help, is about anger. It's about anger. It's about repressed anger. Some of my older videos talk about this, but I'm here. I'm back on my channel to explain other layers of healing, because it is about healing emotions, but it's about healing deep layers of trauma and developmental trauma, especially when you have chronic illness, chronic disorders, disease, and even cancer. In my private practice, I have worked with many clients over the years, and they show very similar patterns in trauma, especially when they're also suffering from chronic gut and autoimmune disease. So let's cycle back to anger. Repressed anger. It's not the obvious anger when you're pissed off and you're angry about something because someone out there or something out there made you angry. I'm not talking about that kind of anger. I'm talking about repressed anger. I'm talking about the kind of anger that's been buried, that you don't even know about. And I think the easiest way is for me to give you a case study. So there is a woman. She is married to a man who is very controlling and very angry and has very unpredictable moods. And she develops this kind of relationship with him where she's hypervigilant, scared, and maybe she doesn't show that she's scared on the surface all the time, but deep down, she's scared of him. Deep down, she doesn't feel emotionally safe with him. And she probably doesn't feel physically safe either, or sexually safe. The key is that this woman doesn't feel safe. And so she's living in this way that's driven by her unsafety. She lives in a way where she walks on eggshells around him. She lives in a way where she tiptoes and people pleases so that he doesn't get upset, so that she can keep the peace. And over time, what that does is that she lives in a state of control. She's trying to control her behavior to people please him so that she can control if he gets angry or not, or whether he blows up or not, so that she can feel safe. As soon as her partner gets upset, she begins to feel triggered, and she gets compulsive about caretaking his emotions, caring about his emotions, and doing anything she can to calm him down so that she can remain calm. And there's a lot of dynamics like this where one person is temperamental, has mood swings, gets mad and upset about everything. And the other partner is more of the calm one, easygoing, and then just adapts. And over time, what happens is that the person, this woman, loses her sense of self because she spends year after year trying to make the other person calm. And then her body doesn't even belong to her anymore. Her emotions, her intuition, her gut instincts is all about survival. It's all about tending to the emotional upset person, to the angry person. And then she's just afraid. And then this person who's angry is also dismissive, is also neglectful, is also just very emotionally immature. Doesn't really meet any of the needs that this woman has. And so she gets resentful and angry, but she doesn't know that she's resentful and angry. She just knows that she doesn't really like him sometime, but she doesn't let herself really go into that because she's afraid. She's afraid to disrupt the peace that she is so working hard on to keep. So even though she's probably very hateful towards him and deeply resentful, she knows she's unhappy, but she says, okay, this is like, I can't leave this. This is the way it has to be. And so she keeps going year after year after year. And then she gets depressed. She ignores it. And there's a whack full of other symptoms in her behaviors that basically bury who she is and buries the anger and the repressed anger that cycles inside of her body. So this is all, when it's repressed anger, it's all unconscious. She resents him every time he gets angry over nothing and treats her poorly and dismisses her and neglects her. And she learns to tolerate. And over the years, she tolerates and she tolerates and she tolerates to the point where tolerating pain, tolerating emotional pain becomes a norm, becomes something that she lives with. And then that pain, it festers into this deep-seated hatred, or this kind of feeling where she's kind of dead inside, or she's lost who she was, but she just tries to be happy on the surface so that she can continue on with her life. And then years down the road, she develops disease progression in her stomach. And this is a story that happens all the time with women, with autoimmune disease, with bowel disorders, with syndromes, and same with men. It happens to men as well. And there's just so much anger going on, especially when there is chronic abuse as a child. And it's the amount of anger that one person can carry. It's hard to express at all. It's hard to process at all, especially when it's just years of being repressed and trapped and stored in the body. So there's all of these layers, but these dynamics are very important to understand. These I'm scared of this person that gets emotionally upset, so I have to live in this way so that I can feel safe, so that they're okay. And when you're in that you're not even you anymore. There's such an inauthenticity, a misalignment, a repression of how you feel, a tolerance to emotional immaturity and pain, that all of those emotions that are not expressed because they're not safe to be expressed, especially with an emotionally upset person, with a narcissist, you bury all that year after year after year. And then, and then things are ignored. And then one day, you have all these symptoms and you do everything to get rid of it, but you don't know why. And there's just such a disconnect happening from the awareness and then the disconnect to your body. So this journey is about returning to the body and embodying what's happening and opening up and reconnecting with denied parts of the self. So I'm going to end this video right here because I think it's important to kind of sit with all the things that I just said, especially if you are suffering from chronic illness, autoimmune, bowel disorder, syndrome, disease, or even just cancer. There's a lot of people that are living with cancer and they don't know why, and it's because they're living in a state of resentment, living in a state of helplessness or powerlessness, which I'll go into in my other videos. But for right now, just want you to kind of sit with what I said and kind of tune into the relationship or relationships in your life with your parents, with your partner, with your boss, whoever it is, where you're not feeling safe to be yourself. You're not feeling safe, and you always feel like you have to control the situation by people pleasing them because you can't stand to make them upset. So the first step is to just be aware of these dynamics and awaken to them. And then you can begin the healing. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you are experiencing this and would like to ask some questions, please leave it in the comments and I can answer them in my next video. And if you're interested in deeper healing and learning more, I have a free course where I explain to you how trauma, how CPTSD from long-term narcissistic abuse affects illness and how you can begin healing. And I will see you in the next video.